we're gonna do our name and value. And so I've got my last name. You could do your first or your last. And I'm gonna lay them out here. Kind of play around with my composition. So the one thing I want is I want these to touch each other somehow. Okay, so I don't want them like that. They need to be connected. Okay, so I'm just gonna play around with the arrangement, the composition, and just decide how I want these. Okay, so there we go. I got them the way I want them. So now I'm gonna take my pencil and I'm going to lightly trace around it. Lightly trace around. Now you'll notice that I started with my middle letter because I want my middle to be in the middle. And so that's why I did not start with my M up here. Okay, because I knew I wanted this in the middle. Now what if you have two letters? Well, then put them kind of in the middle. And again, my letters are touching each other because they go together to spell my name. There we go, and you can see I'm not tracing them perfectly, and that's okay. This is just a layout, just a rough layout to kind of get them where I want them. And I'm drawing lightly. Also, another thing you'll notice is I'm not letting my letters get all the way to the edge of my paper. Okay, so I'm giving them about a couple finger widths, just so that they are framed in the paper. Now, if you have a lot of letters, you're gonna have to figure out how to arrange them like that. Now, you could arrange it like this, going up and down. You could also arrange it going across. So I could have had it like this, okay? It doesn't matter, as long as you've got a couple finger widths in, they're touching each other somehow, okay? And your middle letters are in the middle. That's all you gotta get figured out right now, okay? So there's that. All right, so now we have practiced value, and here's my name laid out again, and you can see here I have started adding value to my name. I haven't gone in and actually outlined my name. I'm just inserting value into my negative space. And I'm using a drawing technique called scrumbling. And that is just kind of like you're drawing kind of like stars, you know, just kind of, I always think of it as stars. And we want our value to be dark by our name. And as we get away from our name, we're gonna have it get lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter. Now with scrumbling, you are still gonna see some of the paper through your drawing, and that's okay. And you can see here, this value right here is probably like a 4, okay? Whereas this value is more of a 5. So I would wanna come back in here and just push a little bit harder with my pencil. Okay, just to get it a little darker. Now you might be asking yourself, Do I have to do this scrumbling thing? Do I have to do these stars? Because I really don't want to do these stars. I want to do my own thing. I want to use marker. I want to use crayon. No, we're just using pencil. But within pencil, there are a few different techniques that you can use besides this kind of star pattern. Now you can see here, I'm going over what I already had just to kind of bring it out, and I'm getting a graded value going out to the edge, pushing lighter and lighter with my pencil. Lighter and lighter. I'm also letting my stars, whatever, scribbles, scrumbling, get bigger and bigger, whereas it's tight in here. Okay, let's look at how else I could do this. Okay, so I could also do it, I could do like circles, okay, like this. And I could do circles really little and tight around my name. And then as I go away from my name, I can have them get lighter and bigger, so my value gets lighter. Okay, like so. All right, so those are basically the two options you got. You got the circly things, and you've got the star kind of things. But they're both examples of scrumbling. Now you want to be careful of your hand. We want to try not to let our hand get all over this. So if you want to have like a piece of scratch paper that you have laid on here. Okay, so here's a piece of scratch paper, and this is going to help keep my hand off of my drawing. Another thing you could do is, like, if you're left-handed, you could work from the right to the left. If you're right-handed, you could work from the left to the right so that your hand's not going over stuff. That's also a good idea. And then you might be asking yourself, well, what about these areas that overlap? What am I supposed to do there? Well, that is up to you. You could leave them and just leave them blank, or like what I've done in here is I've put like a number 2 value in there, just something super light. But you'll notice here I've started getting smeary in here, and I don't want that. I want to keep it really nice and bright, because I want this to be my number 1 super bright tone. Okay, so working back here, you can see here I'm just starting by trying to get this as dark as I can, and sometimes you have to go over this a few times until you get that value to the point where you want it. Oh my gosh, these are gonna look so awesome when they're done. You're gonna do a great job. Do I want to stay with the same letter type when I'm drawing these all out? Yes. If I switch my fonts, that's not gonna look unified. Okay, so I'm gonna switch over to fast forward, and get this thing done. Okay, so for the background, you're going to press hard on the edges, kind of like we did with the negative space. And then you're going to get lighter and lighter as it goes to the middle. And you want it to be a smooth transition. scribbly. Artist secret, keep your colored pencil sharp. If it gets dull and you start scratching your paper, you're going to have scratch lines, and we don't want that.